the action begins in the co-main event. Introducing first, a multi-time champion ready to make a statement in his UFC debut. Here is Iron Michael Chandler. And his opponent, New Zealand's finest, coming off a 2020 in which he put on two of the best fights of the year. Introducing the always entertaining Dan the Hangman Hooker. And all roads lead to the main event. It's the much anticipated return of the double-weight world champion. A man who's changed the fight game forever. The owner of the fastest knockout in UFC title fight history. Here is the Irish megastar, the notorious Conor McGregor. And he faces one of the best fighters in the world today. The pride of Lafayette, Louisiana, winner of 4 of his last 5 fights. The former interim lightweight champion. Please welcome Dustin the Diamond Poirier.
What's up, Abu Dhabi? How are you guys? Thanks for coming out today. We appreciate it. Who's got the first question?
Conor, I'd like to start with you. Welcome back, of course. First things first, I mean, this entire pandemic, I think we've wondered, what would a Conor McGregor fight be like with no crowd, and now it's limited crowd? So now that you're kind of in the building, you're getting a sense for what the atmosphere is like. And we think about you, the bright lights are on, the big crowds, that's when you perform. How does that affect your energy, your focus on fight night?
I tell you what, it feels pretty good right now, you know, the crowd here. I know it's a small crowd, but it feels good, so I'm very happy to be here.
Fair enough. And of course, as you said, this is a big fight, you know, pay-per-view headliner, but it's interesting. I mean, you have a victory over Dustin. There may be a title fight on the line, maybe there's not, we don't really know. So what provided kind of your daily motivation? I mean, you know, that extra practice, that extra grind that you might not want to go to, what was providing that for you?
My love for the game, my love for competition, my love for combat. You know, Dustin has put on an incredible run since our last fight. It's been a long time coming. Yes, I did get the win over him the first time. But, you know, he's rose right up and he's back up there at the top of the division. So I'm excited to go and compete with him again.
Fair enough. And you went out there and kind of made a pretty bold prediction. You said you think you can get it done in 60 seconds. You know, I know you have a lot of respect for him, but I wonder, I mean, that puts a lot of pressure on you, right? I mean, you win in the second round or you edge out a decision, maybe it was a letdown. So any regrets in making that prediction? Do you stand by it?
You know, well, I got him out of there in 90 seconds the first time. So, I mean, I'm not that far off. But, you know, that's a complete confidence in my preparation and in my abilities. I know Dustin's a hell of a competitor. I know there's questions here. He's heavier. He's up on a different weight. But he's more experienced. I feel I can do it. However, you know, there are question marks regarding conditioning and things like that. I know his team has been spouting about the conditioning and that. I have put in a lot of work to get myself correctly to the 155-pound frame. I got 40 seconds inside the octagon in 2020, which caused major frustration in my, you know, it's not enough. I need more. So I'm going to go in there, and I believe I can get him out there and possibly will hit him early and hurt him. But, you know, I hope for a good long bout.
And last thing for me, Conor, I mean, it's kind of, I think probably no coincidence in the timing, but you were named in a lawsuit this week. I just wonder if you have any comments on that and if that's affecting your focus. I mean, I think that's a lot on your shoulders ahead of a big fight like this.
You know, it's old news. It was investigated thoroughly over the course of 2 long years, and I was cleared of any wrongdoing. And that's it. You know, I have so much positivity in my life. I've got a great challenge ahead of me on Saturday night, and I'm very excited to get in. I put in an immense amount of work to get my frame correct at 155, to get my conditioning. You know, I want to answer questions here, and I hope Dustin can bring it to me, and we can have a good fight.
Thank you, Conor. For Dustin, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you fought this year in the Apex, put on a Fight of the Year type candidate, right? Does that provide any benefit? I mean, this atmosphere is unique. It's different, right? I mean, does that give you any kind of an edge once you go in there, or is an octagon an octagon?
An octagon's an octagon. It's actually good to see us moving in this direction and fans coming back. That's the direction we need to be, opening things up as safe as we can. And the UFC and Abu Dhabi here are doing that. So I'm excited to put on a show for these guys.
Yeah. And Dust, I know that you've committed your life to this game, right? Sacrificed everything. You never had a $100 million boxing match. You know what I mean? You don't have a whiskey brand that's distributed around the world. I know you like the saying, 25 minutes to make life fair. Does that apply here? I mean, do you feel like there's a chip on your shoulder? I mean, you guys have had this kind of parallel life, but it's gone different. Do you walk in there with a little chip on your shoulder?
Every fight is a chip on my shoulder. I'm trying to prove something. I'm trying to, the work that I put in, I'm trying to make it pay off. I'm trying to put my family in a better position, and this is no different. I know what a win over Conor McGregor means in combat sports, and I know that whoever wins this fight is fighting for gold, and that's why I fight.
Fair enough. Thank you, Dustin. And just one last one for Dana, please. Dana, obviously this is a massive pay-per-view.
Sir, you've got the hot sauce, Dustin. I'm actually I'd love to taste the hot sauce.
I got a bottle for you.
I appreciate that. I've got a bottle of proper for you. I'd love to share that. So, you know what I mean? He's putting in the work. I've been highly impressed. I think the whole business has been highly impressed. After that loss many, many years ago, he rose up, became champion. He's given so much back. I'm honored to share this octagon with this man. I know we have this competitive fire, and it's still there. There's still that in us, There's no denying that. We have a clash, and it's going to be a good firework-filled bout. But the respect is admirable for this man from me.
I don't want to make it seem like we're up here giving each other back massages, but I just want to clear the air. Conor's team, McGregor Sports Entertainment, did reach out to my foundation, and they are, starting the donation to the Good Fight Foundation, and we have huge, huge plans for that. So, Conor, man to man.
My pleasure, brother. My pleasure. Thank you.
You're going to help a lot of people with that.
Yes, and you.
Maybe you could help him with the distribution deal for the hot sauce.
Of course, no problem. I got to taste it first, though. I don't put my name to something unless it's the proper, you know what I mean? Unless it's the finest.
I got you. You'll taste it Sunday morning, then I'll give you a bottle after, yeah?
It's perfect.
Fair enough. Dane, I just want to ask you, like I said, I mean, this is a huge pay-per-view event to kick off the year. You kind of stirred the pot a little bit with the piracy, the online streamers. They want to come after you and give this thing away. So, any regret in kind of maybe stirring the pot a little bit?
I'm glad you asked me about that because we got one. We got him. We're watching this guy right now. All you have to do is turn it on Saturday, and we got you, fucker. I can't wait. Turn it on Saturday, streamers, and see what happens. Thank you for asking me that question. Pipe down. Who's next?
Question for Michael over here. Welcome to the UFC. This is your first real big press conference in your new home. I don't think anyone for years thought you would be here. So what are your first impressions of the UFC fans now at this press conference?
This is great, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's awesome to be kind of a historic night. 10 months of not having any fans during a worldwide pandemic. It's nice to share this opportunity with the fans, man. It's been a long time coming, and there was moments where I wasn't sure if I would ever make that jump to come over. The circumstances needed to be right. It needed to feel right. A couple months ago, having that conversation with Dana, it felt this is where my new home needed to be, and everything has been wonderful thus far, and I'm excited to go out there, start this new chapter. Got a blank page on Saturday night to start this new chapter of my career. I'm excited to get out there and compete.
And I know you're not looking past Dan, but you had said in the media day you were looking forward to at least sizing up Conor, being around him, seeing what he's about. So have you seen him in the hotel? And if you haven't, what do you think now?
No, I have not. No, this is just the first time I saw him, man. He's looking dapper as always. Conor McGregor, typical Conor fashion. But I've been outside of the UFC, and I told Dana this in our conversation. Every single time that I trained for one of the guys that I stepped inside of the cage with, I wasn't training to fight them. I was training to fight the number one guy in the world. The number one guy in the world has always been under the UFC banner. I was always training to fight to beat that guy. So sizing everybody up. Last time I was here on Fight Island, saw Khabib, saw Gaethje. Man, these are the upper echelon, the world-class guys that I've wanted to compete against since day one. And now I get that opportunity. Just got to go out there and take care of business on Saturday night.
And question for Dan. A lot's made with Michael's wrestling credentials. You, of course, have a very extensive striking background. So what do you make of Michael Chandler's striking inside the octagon?
He's aggressive. The guy comes out, he's a fast starter. So I'm expecting by the end of that first 5 minutes, we're going to know how this thing's going to play out. I'm expecting him to come at me. I'm expecting a fast start, but I'm not one to back down to a challenge.
And then question for Conor. Max Holloway declared himself the best boxer in MMA. You kind of laughed at that on Twitter. So I'm wondering, how would you rate the three gentlemen up here's boxing compared to yours?
I tell you what, the last press conference I done with Cerrone, it was just myself and Donald up here. You know, this time we've got 3 other men, 4 of us, and we're all in the same division. So, you know, they're opponents, potential future opponents, and I'm very excited about that. That's kind of what halted me in 2020 before the pandemic even hit. It was like nothing really presented itself. Well, here we've got 3 up here. You know, we've got Max skateboarding in the hallway back at the hotel. So I'm very happy with that, and, you know, I'm very excited to see how the bout goes in the co-main event. I know the two men know the magnitude of where they are at, and I'm excited. You know, that's gonna breed an exciting fight-filled fight. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a lot of power thrown. I would tell the 2 lads if there's any stalling or any situation like that, you know, to be separating and let the shots fly, because there's a lot at stake here, and I wish both men the best of luck.
And then question for all 4 gentlemen up there. A unique situation, 4 dads fighting on Saturday in the main and co-main event. So are your kids aware of what's going down on Saturday? Are you going to let them watch? I know Conor has Conor Jr. and his kids here, but are you going to let your kids watch on Saturday night?
Sorry, say that again. Was that to me?
So all 4. Are all 4 gentlemen's kids going to watch the fight on Saturday?
You know, my kids will watch. I'm at having them prevalent all fight week, you know, giving them the experience. They're a little young, though. I don't think I'll have them in the arena for the actual bout. But they'll be watching their daddy for sure. And I look forward to going back after the fight.
I know my son will be sleeping, but he knows Daddy does MMA. He knows what MMA is, and we'll go watch the masterpiece after the fight when I get home and get to spend time with him.
And my daughter knows what I do, obviously, but we don't really let her watch. She helps me take the stitches out when I get back. She knows what's going on.
Yeah, my daughter will be swinging along with me. She'll be there.
Who's got the next question?
Well, one more for you, Dana, right here. Habib did an interview yesterday saying he still doesn't want to make his mom upset by returning. Have you seen that interview, and have you spoken to him again since your initial conversation?
I told you guys, we'll see what happens this week.
We'll get him. We'll get him.
Hey, Conor. Out of the available lightweights to you right now, is Dustin the hardest challenge you could be facing?
I think so, yeah. You know, I'll always look to get the highest challenge. Dustin has a win over Hooker, who's on stage here. You know, he knocked out Justin. So there's some high contenders already. Justin in turn knocked out Tony, who was another contender. So I think I'm right at the top here. You know, I would make the case if that man is continuing to dodge this and dodge the commitment of competing again, the title should be stripped and we should be engaging in a title fight. You know, so. But I'm sure it will happen after this bout. I'm interested to hear what the excuses or what will be said after the fight. But I predict a title strip.
Going off a prediction, you said it's going to take 60 seconds to beat Dustin. It might go longer. But do you have the shot in mind already that you want to finish him with, or is that something that presents itself in the fight?
I have a million shots. I have so many weapons in my arsenal. And, you know, they're all fine-tuned at this time. I'm in a phenomenal place. And I look forward to getting out and showcasing, you know, painting my picture and putting on a beautiful performance for the fans around the world.
And for you, Michael, we know your story, that you've just come into the UFC, but now you're up there on a press conference stage. Has it set in yet that you're making a UFC debut?
Yeah, it has. I think the day that I signed on the dotted line, it started to sink in. Man, I've been competing at a high level since I was 14 years old, and all roads have led to this. There seem like there have been roadblocks at times, but daily I have thought about it, I've visualized it, I've seen it, I've been watching these guys compete for a long time, and I've wanted to share the octagon with him. So it's, you know, the last trip here to Fight Island, a lot of people thought it was kind of an interesting decision. I wanted to be the guy that said yes when a lot of guys said no. So I stepped up, I said yes, and I reaped a lot of reward from that. Now all the familiar faces that I'm going to be rubbing elbows with, coworkers, and my tenure here in the UFC, now they're all familiar faces, and it's all gone well thus far. Weight's on point, and here we are getting ready to step into, not just step into the octagon, but step into a co-main event slot on a huge pay-per-view, a historic night. As these guys have said, this is a big opportunity for all of us, and we're going to go out there and we're going to go put on a great show.
And for Dustin, there is an element of charity to this fight. You just mentioned that with the donation to your foundation. How important do you believe it is that a fighter at the top tier pays it back and pays it forward and uses their platform to help others who don't have one?
I believe it's important for a man as he matures to recognize the situation and position he's in and that he put himself in. And to each his own. I'm not saying everybody should do it, but if you have it in your heart and you're in position to be a voice for people whose voice isn't heard, or to be a representative of something better, you know, it transcends fighting. And we're all fighting something. So it means a lot to me personally. I can't speak for anyone else.
And for Dan, do you believe your style is the worst matchup Chandler could be facing on his debut?
It's not a good style. I bet if he could have picked anyone else, it wouldn't have been me. Long, tall guy. You know, my game's built around defending wrestlers. The only reason I'm here is because everyone ahead of me turned the fight down. They don't want to take the risk. They don't want to risk their spot. You know, they come up with a bunch of excuses. Oh, Charlie Olives saying he can't make the weight. Like, Dana, you believe Charlie Olives can't make the weight? I got broomsticks thicker than that boy. I'm here. I'm taking the risk. That means that I reap the reward.